Hey everyone, welcome to LYB Podcast. On today's episode, we have special guests. So Casey Samsel, yes, you want to say hello?
What's up?
Katelynn, yes.
Hi.
And Katelynn, remind me, so with Casey's business and everything, what's your role?
Well, I started out as I still am just basically virtual assistant,
Okay.
onboarding new clients,
Nice.
things like that, doing a little bit behind the scenes stuff.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very pleased to have both of you. It's like a girl for an hour. I love this. So this is very cool. So tell me a little bit. So for those of you that don't know, Casey, you were IFBB. I mean, you're an IFBB pro, right? From bodybuilding. You own your own business. How long have you had your business for?
So I just wanted to also add that she's been a massive support in the business. Also, like she's a part of the backbone. Okay, so
Yeah.
she was super modest.
I love that.
And then she's also host of the Fit Femme Project, LYB Podcast. It's like her dream job. So I just wanted to make sure that
Love it.
Okay,
Oh gosh.
I love you.
Yes.
Hi. I've been an IFBB pro since 2014,
Okay.
and right after that moment, I had some of my, the girls that I was working out with. They're like, okay, like, so how was that? Like,
Yeah.
you want to do that for me? And I was like, I mean, not really.
Yeah.
It wasn't like totally fun back then. It was a different ball game, baby.
Okay.
It was like a different, we were taught to eat like chicken and green beans, and that was it.
Right. True.
For eternity. And not eat sodium, like all those types
Yeah.
of things. No diet sodas, like
Yeah.
not fun. But I ended up just trying to help some of these women get more fit, and it was working out. Everybody was feeling good, and
Okay.
and then I was asked to continue to bring one of them into a competition, and she's like, just do what you got to do. And I was like, I'm totally winging it, bro.
Yeah.
But we'll do it.
Yeah.
And that was in 2014, and it just kept going.
Happen. Yeah. All right. I like it.
We just gather and
Okay, that's awesome. And are both of you from like the Nashville area or no? Because I don't even know where you're from.
I'm from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I moved down here 6 years ago.
Okay, me and Casey are friends, guys. So just letting you guys know, but we are still getting to know each other. So I did not know that you came from Pennsylvania. So
Yeah.
okay, what brought you here?
So I actually competed down here and at the Flex Lewis Classic when it had bikini.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just was down here for about 72 hours, and I was like, I'm going to live here.
Like I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And so I went home and told my boyfriend at the time, hey, do you want to move to Nashville? And so he applied for jobs, and we were down here by December. That was in July, so 6 months.
Okay. Very cool. That's awesome.
I'm from Omaha, Nebraska, if you ever heard of it.
Yeah. No, for sure.
But I've been here. I moved here because I got married to a boy a long time ago.
Okay.
But that was about 12 years ago now.
Okay.
But kind of the same thing with Casey. I had driven through Nashville in 2007, and my parents and I was with my parents, and we just stopped to eat.
Yeah.
Downtown Broadway, the restaurant's still there, and it was just so quiet.
Oh my gosh. So you're like, I love this.
Yeah.
Like,
So cute.
yeah.
But it wasn't nearly what it is today. The bars were
Right.
still there, but we just stopped and ate dinner. I just was like, I'm gonna live here one day.
Yeah.
And 3 years later, I was here.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's wild. It
I
has
love
a
that.
gravitational pull.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's super cool. No, because a lot of people that I've had on the podcast or that I'm, friends with and stuff like that, like they did not grow up here. And so it's just always interesting hearing about like how that came about, what ended up happening, stuff like that. But yeah, I grew up here in Murfreesboro. And so now I live in Nashville, which is, cool. And I like being there. But it has changed completely. And, I didn't know in terms of like bodybuilding back in the day, like it kind of was a thing. So like around when you're talking about like 2014, I was like, but I was in college. So, so I wasn't really paying attention to anything like that, but it really like kind of grew up overnight here.
And Bikini just went live in 2010. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was still kind of a baby.
Yeah. And then wellness is like,
Super baby.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's
they still don't know. They don't know what they're looking for.
I mean,
that
I
what you do?
love the wellness division.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, y'all got
ass.
y'all's got the stuff.
I
for
don't.
it.
I don't compete, so don't give me.
I know. I keep putting her in that category.
She has said it a couple times. She's like, you should do wellness. I'm like, I don't want to do that to myself.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it is
Definitely a different lifestyle.
It is, yeah, it
Yeah.
is for sure. But because you were saying before that like you do movement and you work out and everything like that, so
Yeah.
it's just living a happy lifestyle and everything. But no, it's a whole nother level. Like I just, I love it as of right now, but it definitely does take a lot out of me.
I
And
don't want that.
and that's where like your business really has like I've kind of been pulled to that about kind of looking at everything you've been doing for females and for women and all the positive reviews that they've been having, because I know you help with not only mindset but like I think you talked about like Enneagram work and then like hormones as well, and like you do all of that, right? Like do you kind of sit with people?
So
like,
within our team, yeah, we do pretty much everything.
yeah, that's awesome. I love
One-stop
that.
shop.
Yeah.
That's super cool. So how did you like, I guess for, anyone listening and then also me too, like how did you start with the initial, like, were you the first person to work with her or did you have another person? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how did that kind of go?
So initially it was just myself for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I was doing only competition clients.
Okay.
And I soon realized that I was getting like a lot of lifestyle, and I was turning them away.
Yeah.
These women just wanted to get healthy, and I was like, ugh, so, and I was like, it's not my forte, so I'm not going to sit here and like
Right.
try to, do that, especially at the time. My skills have developed so much
Yeah.
since then.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank goodness. Like, no, she humbles me every second of every time.
Oh, it's
Stop it. Loving way?
It's very good for me.
good. I love it. I love that. We need those people. We do. We do. Keep you in check.
So, and then I ended up hiring one of my clients. She wanted to be a personal trainer. She spent the time doing it. She had clients previously, and or she was doing it in person, and I ended up hiring her.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of grew. It was still Team Casey then. It was lifestyle team of Team Casey, and we had the combo there.
Yeah.
And if I actually could just like really quick, she was diagnosed with cancer and she just went through like the transplant like very recently and has just been sent home, I believe, or is on her way home. Are we able to share her GoFundMe at the end of this or
of
somewhere
course.
point
Yeah.
in this? That would be awesome.
Yeah. No, I love that. What cancer?
I don't want to say it wrong. Do you mind if I look quick?
Yeah, no, go ahead. You're fine. But and then how long has it been since you started?
Well, I started right before it turned into the Fit Femme Project. So
Okay.
it was still like the end of the Team Casey lifestyle.
Okay. Cool.
And that was August 2021.
Okay. Nice.
No.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So it's been
Good
almost
job.
2 years. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. You're good. You're good. But okay. So what kind of cancer?
Leukemia. That's what I thought it was, but I
Gotcha.
didn't want to. But yeah, she's one of the most kindest, most endearing, helpful, like sweetest, selfless people on this planet.
Well,
So
that's
we'll definitely share her GoFundMe if we can.
yeah, for sure. So you started and you had her as a client, and then she started
Correct.
helping you with everything. So then,
Yep. I eventually needed more coaches, so I just started, I just had to look for more coaches that had the same mission and vision as I did, and of course that's evolved over time. But we ended up having, I think, 3 coaches at the beginning. It transitioned, and we ended up having to really do like a whole team because I was still doing all the back end system work, and I also had my own clients, and it was getting to be a lot. I didn't have much time for myself, so now we have a whole squad.
So let me ask you this. So what was, I guess, like, for me, the hard part of it all is like, okay, well, let me back it up. Do you think that you had such a draw with like the healthy lifestyle clients, like the competitors, all that, whatever? Was it solely because you become a pro, or was it like with NIFB, bodybuilding, or do you think it was because you like marketed yourself super well? Like, because again, as a female in the fitness space, it can be challenging. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're out here being like, I'm the top dude in the, you know what I mean? Like with a 6-pack, being like, like the stereotypical personal trainer that you would see, right? And even with like healthy lifestyle living and stuff like that, I think it's been more so recently that people are more apt to work with females and want them for that help, that one-on-one help. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I know a lot of it was referrals.
Okay.
And then at the time I was also like moving locations. So just a new area, new arena, new vision on life. And definitely, I mean, I was only ever able to take on like 20 to 25 clients, manage my relationship, and do competing and whatever else I found enjoyment, and go to the gym, whatever it was, work, I'll do all these other things. So based on referrals, like if I, would get someone referred to like 2 people a month, and that was good for me. And I got to connect with 2 more people.
Yeah, I think too, like I think where you're going with this question is like somebody looking out from the inside. So aside from like referrals, you still like had that authenticity on Instagram and stuff like that. I remember
I didn't change anything.
Nicole and I, one of our coaches, Nicole, she was talking about this because she was in the competition world as well. And she stalked Casey for so long. It would see her at the gym too. So she was local, but she told me one time that she was seeing her Instagram and she was posting videos of eating these pancakes and syrup and blah, 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 all this stuff. But she was in prep. And Nicole was like, she's lying. She has to be lying. There's no way, because she was in that strict, chicken, rice, and like that's it, like, murdering your mindset. Like will to live. So I think that was a big draw, is just like her being herself, has this like incredible body. And I think like more of the lifestyle people don't really understand the work that takes. Because we'll get lifestyle clients who'll be like, I want to look like Casey. Like,
right.
Let me tell you what that actually entails. But still, it's like just your vision and everything it just goes well with people. And you talk about it in the right way.
It organically grew, I think. It's kind of the summation. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, very cool. Because I wonder, in terms of like with expanding and stuff like that, it's like I have people who, reach out and stuff like that about wanting to like kind of intern, kind of understand, like they want to be a part of the brand, like on that level. But I honestly just don't like, I'm more of like, here's something that happens. Okay, how do I get through it? How do I work it? Now let's go with it, right? Yeah. That's the kind of person I am. Like if someone's like, hey, you need to plan a fitness event for like, 2 weeks from now or whatever, I'd be like, cool, let's go, right? Like I can do that.
There's a lot of jumping, like when you're a business owner. You just got to keep jumping almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like to sit here and plan and then be like, okay, like, I don't know, it's almost like when someone else, for me, if I fail, it's just me. Right. But then if there's other people that I'm responsible for, or like a salary or any of that stuff, right? I just don't know. Like I haven't had really a good experience with it in the past. So I guess more so like an insight into that of like how you were able to just like expand your business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I guess for me, it's like everybody like, I'm sure it was for like this for you too, but like everyone wants to work with me. So for me to be like, even when I had someone else under me, I was like, no, you'll actually be working with someone else because I'm full or I don't have the capacity or whatever. It was kind of like a hard sell. And then they were like, okay, but like I just want to be part of it. So like, okay, that works. But then like they didn't have the same retention. They didn't stick around. It wasn't like the same. Does that make sense?
So to like kind of piggyback on what you first said, when you have it, so you're saying like you're responsible for yourself because it's only you, and you're like, okay, yeah, pressure's like kind of off, like that's your thing. I'm no expert here. Let me fucking just like
I put a lot of pressure on myself. I just know that like
same. I get it. Like we lose hair over this shit sometimes.
Yes.
Amongst other things.
Yeah.
Our freaking minds. But it's true. But we love it so much.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing for when you have a team. You are responsible. That is your responsibility.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, you're responsible. If something goes right, you're responsible as well. Like if you're not giving your team the right tools and resources, and giving them exactly what they need to do their jobs, communicating effectively, and being encourageable, showing up, on time. Like if you're not leading by example as well, like then there's your gap in which you need to figure out how you can be a better leader, a better teammate, or whatever it may be. I mean, Katelynn's been on all sides of the fence. Like she's my bestie, she's admin, she's
I love it.
I mean, she's pulled me back together multiple times. And also kind of was like, no, but
Yeah.
So, but that's the kind of relationship we have. It's awesome. It's good. We lean on each other for a lot of things.
Right.
So her to be able to like tell me like, hey, Case, like you did not like fucking say that right, or like you could have communicated that better, or like how could I do this better? Like there has to be a safe space for you and your employees to also be able to communicate too, or your teammates, or whatever you consider them, your tribe, squad,
right? Yeah,
your people. There's a lot that goes into the back end rather than like, okay, like here's your job, just do it great, like
right.
that's why like we took so much pride in the Enneagram. She brought the Enneagram to me.
Yeah.
And we take so much pride in that because now I know how to effectively communicate with every single person on my team based on their personality type, how to help them get the job done, how to help them help myself, show them like where their gaps are, allow them to show me where my gaps are, and just know what buttons not to push. Yeah. You know? So it's just like there's one of the people on our team, like they just don't like to be pushed into like social settings. They don't like to be pushed. Like it's not appropriate in their book. You need to set like the expectation or ask like, hey, can I provide you with some feedback? Yeah. Is that cool? You know, and then they can make a decision whether like they're ready to receive that feedback right now in their emotional state or not. Yeah. So like the Enneagram is a really, really useful tool for like growing your business, I gotta say. Yeah. So, okay, well, what are your numbers on Enneagram? Like, let's go into that because I'd love to know. I'm an 8-wing-7. Oh, yeah. I'm an 8-wing-7.
I'm an 8-wing-9.
Okay, love that.
So the same, but yet so wildly different.
Yeah, she's the bear. I'm the maverick. When you put like the 8-wing-7 together, it's the challenger and the enthusiast.
Okay.
And what's yours?
Oh, wait, what?
It's the challenger, and so I'm an 8-wing-7, so 7 is enthusiast.
The bear, that's what they call it.
But so it's the challenger and the peacemaker.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the 9. Yeah, the 9 is called the peacemaker. So the big difference between those two is that the 9-wing side is a little more calm.
Yeah. Okay.
And more domesticated.
Right.
And,
okay.
More calm and less likely to put a hole in a wall.
Yeah. See, okay, well, so like what we were talking about earlier, like I did that test or whatever before this, and the problem is that like I don't know, because I feel like I've done. How do you feel like when you do the Enneagram, no matter if you did it like today, tomorrow, a year from now, whatever, if you're always changing and always like working towards being like your best self, do you feel like that changes, or do you think you're like, nah, I am this number?
That's a really good question.
You're gonna love this answer.
Do you see what I mean? Like,
she's about to drop it like it's hot.
Okay, tell me.
No, so you have that core type. So it's interesting when you take the test. It really matters what state of mind you're in because it's really subjective. You can take the test and answer the questions based on what you want to do, what other people expect you to do, or what you would like actually do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So as you grow, hopefully, you know, everyone wants to grow and evolve, you just become a healthier version of that type. So each type has, like 12 levels of health. You have like the low average, like the below average health, average health, which is where the majority of people are at. Then you have like the healthy traits and characteristics of that type. Okay. And we're constantly evolving and molding into our environments. And that's why it's one of the best personality things that I have come across. When I came across it, I was like, and I I took the test. A lady helped me figure out, really narrow down what mine was. And because, you can take it, next year or 5 years ago, and the numbers will always be different because you have to take it as objectively as possible. Right. It's really hard.
No, for sure. Can't. Because, where I'm always pulled, and what I've noticed, I've taken this test several times because of just different things, because I tried to do it with my person that was under me for my business, and for both of us to do it and sit back and reflect so we could like have better communication and everything that you're saying. But I don't know if it was just because he was male and I was female. There was a lot of dynamics. You know what I'm saying? So it was like YouTube, but like male, female. Okay. So there was, a struggle there to try to understand and like differentiate like best friendship, but then like also like work life, but then also other stuff. You know what I mean? So it was like constantly pulling in different directions. But so with this, it's like, I took it during like grief. I took it before that. I've taken it like in not the best mindset, whatever. But my therapist would say that I'm an 8 is what,
That's what I said.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
That's what you thought?
Your therapist, like, they know the Enneagram really well?
Yeah. Oh, and I mean, and because again, we had like gone through it when I was, when everything was happening. With loss and everything. And so she was like, but like the more and more, I see these traits and I see this and whatever. And so I took that test today and it said I was a 6. And I emailed her and I was like, bruh, it's a different number again.
That test is also kind of like loose. It's the shorter one.
Yeah. And so, so I was like going through it or whatever, but it did not help that I was not in the best headspace when I did it. So anyway, so I was like, does this make sense? And she was like, she was like, I could see this, but she was like, I think it's just not the day.
Like,
so
you take it one sense, figure out your type,
Right.
and then
So
learn
I'm
about
gonna
that.
say it's the 8 is
Yeah.
the best. But I don't know if it's like a wing 7 or if it's a wing 9 or whatever I was whenever I did
You know,
it. But
the wing stuff is, you can be both. It's meant to help you be more malleable in your life and more adaptive and easier to like adapt in certain situations.
Mhm.
You can have a more dominant side, and especially as you get older, you'll tend to like have that more dominant. Because I remember when I was younger, I could see myself as the wing 7 and the wing 9 because you're young and fun and immature. But as you get older, that's not what I mean.
It did kind of sound like.
No. Like both sides. Like
I'm
I would
fucking mature. I'm uptight.
Right. Like,
no. I mean,
No.
like
Strangles me.
oh my gosh.
sorry. What I meant.
You
let
owe
me
me one
clarify.
hug.
Okay. What I meant was that you can really teeter on both sides a lot rather
Yes.
than having a dominant side. No type is like the worst of all the types.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's just
Make that clear.
different. Yeah. So for those who are listening and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about with the Enneagram or whatever, basically, in short, personality test, is that how you classify it? Like, okay. And the 8, for people who don't know, what would you say categorizes like those type of people? Like if they get 8?
They're really easy to spot in a crowd because we tend to take up the energy in the room. So
Everyone's like, yeah, Dani. Okay.
you could walk in.
Got it.
You
Thanks.
could walk in on your phone, not looking at anybody, not talking to anybody. People
Yeah.
would know you're there
Yeah.
because it's just this magnanimous energy that type 8s have, and it's very masculine personality as well.
Yes.
So in women, it's tend to, be like, that's gross.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was something I wanted to mention because I hear you talk a lot on Instagram about like femininity and like how you can like sit with that more. And I was like, you know what? She's kind of, I was like, she's right about this. Like, because for a lot, like, I always feel like I am like spearheading so many things, right? Like the first full-time female trainer at the gym that I'm at right now. Like I don't know, like there's like, even with like being with a Connect and like the Shape Squad stuff and like all these things that are first, right? And I feel like I have such a, what's the word? Like, not a duty, but like a, you know what I mean? Like a
Alpha.
like to be able to like do that, which is awesome, and like take up that space and whatever. But it's almost like, I don't know. It almost feels like I'm so strong.
You don't get a break from it.
Yeah, you don't get a break from it first, ever. And then second, with men, it's always, not that they're saying like be less, but it always is such an intimidating factor. And then someone's like, oh, well, you can just like, because I've had plenty of people, I've talked about it on here too, but like, they're like, oh, well, the right guy will understand and things like that. But it's just like in this society, in this world, it always comes off as super intimidating to them, like super.
You're a bitch.
Yeah, you're a bitch. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I continually keep putting people like not in their place, but explaining to them this mentality. You would not say that for a man. Like especially in the workspace, and especially in what I'm trying to do, and especially because I was a strong woman, so a competitor. So like I lifted more weight than most men did, right? So that was another thing too, where they would always come at me like, "Well, how much do you lift? Like, well, what's your max? What's your?" It's like, bro, I'm not competing with you.
Yeah.
And also, if I want to be a partner, I don't need to compete with you unless it's like fun, like we're like at the gym working out. So that's something I struggle with a lot. I don't know if a lot of listeners who are like, man, like, yeah, that's kind of my struggle too, because like maybe they're 8s as well. But like, how do you kind of tackle that? Do you ever give advice
That has
on
been, oh my God.
finding that?
I remember growing up, and it just, because I grew up in the church, so women were expected to be the server, the helper, you just be quiet.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And I was, and even outside of the church in my work, like I was constantly struggling with myself and always being too much.
Yeah.
And I would have bosses or people like mentors or pastors always sit me down and be like, Katelynn, we need to talk to you about your actions or what you did. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And be like, well, so-and-so said this, or they're upset about this. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking
Right.
about, because my obviously always my intentions are super pure and I just want to love everybody.
Right. You're just being
But
yourself.
I'm secretly bulldozing everyone around me and I don't even know it. And so I
Yeah.
struggled
super
so long.
domineering but like
Yeah.
with like
And to
there's
come to
a
terms
certain
with that-
grace that goes with it too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And to come to terms with that was really difficult, because I was like, why do I have to be the one to walk in the stupid room and accommodate to everybody else?
Right.
I don't like that. Everybody else,
No.
I just was so mad about it. And then I learned about the Enneagram. I'm like, ooh, I can walk into a room and I don't have to be a 10.
Yeah.
I can walk into the room and be a 5 and still be myself.
Yeah.
And taking down, because every person, no matter the type that you are, will have emotional armor, right?
It
But
all comes down to safety.
safety, and the more you just peel back those layers, and so people can see more of like who you really are,
Right.
then that it gets easier over time. But it's hard because it's a vulnerability process, and that no one likes that, especially eights.
But see, what I can't stand is that I feel like I continually pull down that armor, but yet then it's like the more that I do, the less people know. Does that make sense?
The less people know what,
like about me. So like if the more real that I am, it almost seems like the less people get it. And it's like, I don't know. It's so hard because I try to just be as authentic, as real as possible or whatever, and share things that are going on or whatever. And it is like, I don't know. It becomes so, I guess, overwhelming.
You might have like just a specific complexity about you, you know, that people just might not understand. So they might, I don't know, that might create distance. But I've been working on trying to just create connection out of obstacles and fears like in the last couple of months, like you wouldn't believe. So
yeah. Well, do you think that it comes down to that they assume because you're so strong that they're just like, oh, well, we can talk about this in front of you and it won't bother you, or you know, you're so strong so you can take it, or you can, you know what I mean? I feel like there's
it's
that
you can take it.
Yeah,
there's that pressure that they
we
see
have
with
that
the
expectation for ourselves. Then
yes, 100%. Well, because again. But, like, I'm cool with it being for myself because, like, I chose that. But when everyone else around kind of puts that on you, it's just like
hold on.
But you know what I'm saying? So I get that because I went to a Christian school.
But I need you.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, and I went to a Christian school when I was growing up. And so it was basically like a homeschooling.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I am still, you know, very much in my faith and everything like that. But, you know, when I was there, I got in trouble for... sneak peek on this. Got in trouble for kissing a boy. I know.
Oh, how dare you?
I know. It was a hellion. Anyway, but okay. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. This was off school property. Like this was not a Halloween party, and I love Halloween. Okay. Also, the boy was 14. I was 10. But I got blamed for it. I was allowed I would give stickers to people like all the time, like just in public, like Jesus loves you. Here you go.
Yeah,
so that kind of like with Danny Fitness. So I'm like, Danny D loves you. You know, it's the same type of thing. I've been doing this since I was like 4. But like, so I'm just, you know, it's one of those things where I got in trouble for that.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, what? Because the guy was like kind of a, you know, whatever. Like he was just very quiet, just not like the want to take up space, right? So but anyway, it's just one of those things where you always kind of feel like you're to blame, or like that people are like, you can handle. They're going to push you. They're going to push you. They're going to push you. So I don't know. Yeah. It's something that I've battled with a lot because I love being seen as that strong force, but it's such a double-sided coin, you know?
It really is, and I know exactly what you're talking about because we do that to ourselves. Like the type 8s are known as the rugged individualists of the Enneagram. Like amongst other types, we stand alone. Like everyone's unique in their own way, but with the type 8, we can endure a great amount of physical pain.
Yeah.
Like literal. But when it comes to like the emotional stuff too, it's like, yeah, I can handle it. Like I can hold a great amount of space for people and take it and be fine with it.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's when the tables are turned, it's like, no, excuse me.
And that just doesn't feel fair. Like, you know what I mean? And so you try to like.
It's like everyone's not prepared for you to fall apart, so you don't feel like you have anywhere to fall.
Yeah.
And the big growth point for the type 8 is to learn to, one, ask for help when you need it, and then to also recognize
we can call each other.
Yeah, but seriously, that's no, but 100%, because like, you know, I've really just kind of sat in that new era of doing that, of being able to ask for help.
Well, the other part of it too is to recognize the help and support that's already surrounding you, because our mindset is, the world's out to get me. Fight for your place in this world. Can't trust anybody.
Yeah,
right?
I've done everything in myself up to this point.
Yeah.
I've perfectly preserved.
But if you like take a step back and look, you can see how much like support you got through those times where you're like, I'm alone, poor me.
Right. No, 100%. I did. I actually said it to my mom the other day. I was like, you know, I just want to let you know, like, thank you so much for everything that you've been doing for me. Because like, it has been, she didn't have to do any of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, I literally couldn't run and do everything that I want to do and that I love without you helping me with just like even XYZ, you know? And to her, it's like, you know, she's like, of course, you know? And so great. And, you know, we didn't have the best relationship growing up. And so I've had to actively work on that, actively help, like, you know, set the example for loving yourself, which has in turn helped her to be able to love herself. And it's been a very beautiful thing. So, you know, for me, it's like, this is best friendship that I'm really trying to hold on to, and which sounds so weird because people are like, oh, it's just like your mom. It should obviously, but like that's not how it is. And so I really have been working at that. And so I'm now, trying to do that with my other relationships and stuff as well. But it is always so, like I said, it always comes off as like they never check in on me, or they never make sure, that anything is okay, or that I'm getting through anything, because like you're so strong, you're doing all these amazing things, everything's great. And I'm like, like
I have realized that like in the past, I would assume that people just know what I'm thinking all the time.
True. Yeah.
Because I'm so introspective to begin. I'm always like on to the next, like idea. And so I was always, how do I want to say this?
I don't know. I don't know what you're thinking.
Son of a bitch.
I feel like telepathically, like it's not working right now.
Wait, come back.
Excuse me.
Go
ahead.
No, go ahead.
Are you saying like when you're going through tough times that because like for me, for example, Katelynn should know when I'm going through tough time based on my behavior? And
yes. Okay. So trying to like, because we assume that the room reads us all the time.
Yeah.
So then we assume that like people can kind of tell what we're thinking, but that's not the truth.
Right.
So communication, like for us, is like the vulnerability, the communication, being open, being honest, and we're direct, but that's a huge difference.
Right.
And actually having like a connection to communication. So communicating is the biggest thing because people they think you're good.
Yeah.
That's the honest truth. They think you're good, you're set. Like sometimes they think you don't need them.
Right.
So communication is what actually brings you and that person together.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I communicate, man. That's the funny thing is, like,
I know.
Even with these like dudes and stuff or whatever, like it'll just be, I don't know. It is so wild out there. But you say you've been married for 12 years?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No. I got divorced after 4 years, so
okay.
I've been hightailing it since then.
Okay.
2014.
So you out here in these streets too.
Yeah.
So you get it. You're like,
yes. But no, what you're saying with the communication stuff is like it's so true because I went through 2 periods of my life where I slept in my car. My family did not know that at all. My own family. They don't live here to give them that credit, but like the pride in being like, I can do this. I don't need anybody's help. Instead, the second time that it happened where I was like, I had a bigger community of friends too, which was really helpful. But I'd gone through that vulnerability process and I had just reached out to a big handful of them and I was like, anybody have a free couch?
Yeah.
And it's really humbling, but they're there for you.
Right.
And I'm like, I just got to wait for my place, blah, blah, blah. And that's hard. It's the easiest thing to be like, hey, can I sleep on your couch? But like when you're there, it's like,
but it feels, and it feels so foreign
That's
too.
gotta be ego.
Yeah.
For sure. And, a big ego death.
And I've definitely been trying to keep that in check for sure. Like, because even with the prep and stuff, like I get super like, and I don't know if you're the same way, but I get super just more real than even I care to be. Like it's like I'm like saying everything and I can't hold it back. Facial expressions are on one. Like it's
because
bad.
It's a regimented place in your brain, bro.
Yeah.
You don't got time.
Exactly. And that's where it's like, but you got to like sit back and take the time in terms of when you're doing business, things like that. But I will say for everybody listening, because I do have such great client support and I really do. And they do check in. They always are asking like, how's your leg? All the things, like how's your back? How you feeling? Everything like that. Because of my injury and stuff, because it'll flare up, And I'm like, yeah, don't really have function in my leg today, but like we're here, or
it sounds like you.
It's like, yeah, because
I can't feel my whole right side, but I'm here.
But it's great, guys. I'm like,
because you had a major injury too, right? Like with your back.
Yes.
Yeah. When was that?
Like 2 years ago was the first initial.
Really?
Thing.
Yeah.
Was it during workouts or was it something?
So funny story. I squatted a PR that day, and it was I probably worked out too hard too soon after the Olympia that year, one of my shows.
Okay.
And I was changing the cat box later that night.
It's always the stupidest stuff, like tying your shoe.
So just picking up cat dookie. I could not stand
way.
up. Yeah, Oscar was putting my socks on for me and
oh my god,
carrying me around.
That is crazy. So you think that I mean, like, but you had no issues before then, or you kind of had back problems like growing up? Like,
no, I didn't have any back problems.
wow. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. It was, and I mean, it doesn't matter. Like I think honestly, like my form was good. I had it all on camera.
Yeah.
Everything looked good. The breathing was good. All of it was good. It's just, I think the emotional detriment is what kind of broke me down energetically and just allowed just that. There's just a gap there.
Yeah.
It was forgotten about while I was trudging through contest prep trying to get someplace. And
okay. So for everyone listening, so you're trying to basically explain that like your mindset just did not match with what your physical was doing. Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Okay. Which is something that too, you know, if you haven't competed or you haven't been in a sport, like to really like wrap your mind around you know, this has taught me that like, I don't know, getting to the lowest point, like energy level, and just barely being able to, like, the basics of my human existence with the prep, if that makes sense, like, has taught me so much about myself. But it's like during it, after it, reflecting it, there's so many emotions that has come out of it that it's been a beautiful thing. But it's shown me the disconnect that I've had does that make sense? Like from the years in between everything. Yeah. And that is where then it's like, okay, now I'm continually working on myself or continually trying to get the ego in check or get this in check or whatever. Because it's like, you know, at one point, you know, you're doing your squat PR or whatever, feeling invincible. And then the next, you know, you can't move properly, right? And that was like with me, it was like Nashville's strongest woman, crushing it, boyfriend, things are going great, life is good. And then he, you know, passes away. All the stuff comes out. Like, you know, then finding, you know, with my leg, my injury, like can't feel my leg. Like it's just so much just, you know, that happened so quickly that there was like, one, didn't feel like a good support system at the time. And then two, just kind of moving forward because you're like, you have to keep going. So like, how do we really like sit with that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if we're doing this for a long time, life's going to happen. We're going to lose people. We're going to get hurt. Like, it's just a matter of when, what, how much.
Yeah.
And I think when we're in that mindset of just being so strong, knowing really where our will sits and our, like, fortitude to, like, succeed, at least accomplish our fucking goals that we set out to,
yes.
like, there is not another path. Like, you're still on it. And you take a little bit of time to feel the things, but I don't think that we take enough time to feel the things and truly feel the things, especially as aides, but also like and naturally as like humans, if we're on that path of where we're like, career, relationship, we're all shooting forward at 1,000 miles an hour and everything's good. And then, you know, something stops us in our tracks and we have to go, boom, it smacks us in the face and we're like, shit.
Well, it has to because like, it's a really good example, especially for the eights. We're the workhorses of the Enneagram. Like threes and eights are the big, not the other types. I don't want to sound like biased.
No, we actually only like eights. So every other Enneagram, sorry.
Where are you guys at?
No, but like
come hang.
Threes and eights dominate the workforce because threes are extremely goal oriented and so are eights, just for different reasons.
Yeah.
But eights really need, and threes are the same way, really need to understand when to pump the brakes.
Right.
You can still achieve your goals and still take that rest day and kick your feet up before your body forces you, which has been happening for 2 years now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm healed.
You are. Well,
as
it was a long process.
Right.
I know, right?
I just started working arms again.
Hey, I like it. Looks good. You both are beautiful and strong. But
I just can't see it yet.
I know. Look great. But the other thing I was gonna say is
name things you don't like about yourself.
Wait, what?
Name things you don't like about yourself. Flexing on camera. She likes it about herself.
No, literally, no. When I saw you, I was like, damn, like, all right, like, come through. Like, always look great. No, I don't know. It was like at 29 years old, like I have now been able to find balance in terms of like the rest day or whatever like that. Like that was not ever a thing that I had before. And even now it's like I have to physically like set my phone to the side, do not disturb, whatever, just to even be able to like sit. But like that's hard. And I don't even know who I was talking to the other day, but I think it was one of my clients and like they were talking about that they don't want to sit with it. Like, they don't want to sit with all the stuff. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks. Like, it is hard when everything slows down for a second, especially if you are, I feel like, an 8 and you're always grinding. You could always be doing stuff. Like I always reach out to one more person.
It's a very hustly mindset.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that grind culture that is still pretty strong of like, no days off, grind it, like, no.
Yeah.
Like, it
That's
doesn't
not
have to
masculine
be
energy,
like that.
just like full force.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I guess with like going back to what I had asked before about the femininity thing, like, so, what is something that you like tell your clients? Like you say, like, how do you sit with it more or like kind of lean into it? Because I don't know. I guess for me, it's like, I don't even know how to tap into it. Cause I guess I've been waiting for someone to like have me tap into it. Does that make sense?
Kind of help you get past that initial.
Yeah.
For the type
It really
8,
takes detaching, for sure.
It does. It takes not judging yourself and kind of removing yourself from yourself and looking at yourself from like an out of body sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
For an 8 especially, every type has this experience, but for a type 8 is specifically, that vulnerability process and learning to sit in it is to, one, the first emotion you will always feel is anger.
Mm-hmm.
Anger will always be there, so be okay with it. But the sitting in it for the type 8 is to let it pass, because it will, because there's always the real emotion under that. So figure out,
I was
like,
going to say anger is a second emotion.
no, it's the first one.
Anger is a second emotion, so
What are you talking about?
it's in general, like in all like human like nature. It's a second emotion. So it's like it's masking like sadness or fear.
Yeah.
Or,
Okay. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So it's masking like, oh, I'm actually, somebody hurt my feelings.
Yeah,
Instead of
for
like
sure.
lashing out at your spouse, being like, oh, let me like stop for a minute and
Yeah.
really figure out why I'm so angry.
Yeah. No, I get that. And
hiding
like,
under the surface.
well, so we went and did like go-karts the other night or whatever. And look, I literally looked at my people that I was with and I was like, we all should not have been the ones to come do these go-karts. Because like we're the ones that are like angry. Like we're like
The
going
most
into
competitive.
the
like,
most competitive.
fueled.
And but it was so much fun and whatever. But like I needed that to be able to like let loose, and like I just felt like my cup was completely filled after I did that. And I always joke about it, but I'm like, I would love for like to find a rage room and like go do stuff like that.
So
But it's
funny.
but you know what I mean? And so that's how I've kind of looked at it of like, what are some fun things that I could go do? And it's like it always results in like that. Because I guess for me, it's like I have to always like give it to God in terms of like resentment or things or like, you know what I mean? That just kind of get under my skin. Because it's like I don't even know if this is an Enneagram thing, but like I'm very
Everything
good to right. Okay. So I'm very good to forgive, but like I don't ever forget it.
No,
though.
absolutely not.
You know what I'm saying?
You're forgiving to let it go and to like, I don't have the time or energy
No,
to let
exactly,
this take
like-
space up in my
Yes.
world. But I'm not gonna forget it.
Because by the next week, someone's like, "Hey, like, do you want to talk about that or whatever?" I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? It's like I get I know what you're saying, but like that, there's 50,000 things have happened since
It's a
then.
dead end.
Like I don't. It's not gonna. You know what I mean? Like, and that's I don't know. So okay, so that is something that like it is better. I'm realizing that about myself. And because again, it's like sometimes I'm like, man, I'm not really a positive person, but like I am a positive person. It's just
There's directive to it, but it is always positive.
yeah. Like,
You're always well-meaning, like as far as
Yes.
it's like we're the builder of like, we help everybody else build themselves
Yes.
up, apply their own leadership abilities, have faith in themselves,
Yeah.
provide them encouragement and drive them to the light. Like we're like our own tiny little, like the definition of guru is like, taking people from the darkness to the light, a little like a healing path, and in whatever way, shape or form that comes in. Like if you're helping people grow and heal, like
Yeah.
you're just a little tiny little guru doing your thing.
Yeah. And again, so it's like, okay, well, if someone's listening to this and like, that's me, like, okay, I totally identify with that. Then what is something that they can go do to like step away from that? Like,
So are you talking about embracing a little bit more femininity if you have a more, so there's, I know that like as business owners, as eights, we carry a lot of masculine energy.
Mhm.
That's a lot of like, I'm the protector, I'm the preserver, I'm the hustle, I'm the grind. I know,
set the example for everyone. Like, yeah.
It's a lot of pressure to stay in that masculine energy because we just do it so flawlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Not gracefully, not graciously all the time, but like we always get shit done.
Yeah.
And we know that about ourselves. So for us to like turn that off, knowing that that is our success button is incredibly hard.
Yeah.
And then So a couple things that I've been doing for myself is just getting like down to the root of like who I really am. Like, I took my extensions out. I was like,
which I love, by the way.
I know. Right?
Thank you. I had no idea what was going on. And then Celia showed me like all these curled things. So here I am.
New hair, new you.
Whoa. It's like I'm from the wild. But so I just felt like I identified with that so much, like my extensions.
Yes.
Because they made me feel good. They made me feel like a goddess. But at the end of the day, it's like, what's in this hair that is really actually...
You gave so much power to that hair.
Insane. So when I took it out, but also there was a moment that I had with myself when I took it out. I had to take it out fast because I was like, this doesn't feel like it's a part of me anymore.
Yeah.
And then I also had... my carnelian crystal fall off of me 2 times. So just both in those same times, I was like, sorry, I had to say it. I was just like, what the hell? Why does it keep coming off me? And that has a lot of it's sacral chakra connected. So it has a lot of sexual energy, like pleasure energy.
Okay.
And usually when they say like a crystal falls off of you, you can take it any way you want, but it just kind of means like that chapter is over, that phase is over. And both of those happened like within the same like week. And when I realized like I took my hair out, I felt so free. I felt like I was carrying so much weight and I didn't realize how much I was identifying myself with my hair.
Yeah.
And before, like years ago, if I would have taken my hair out, I would have flipped. Like I did it once before in the middle and I had to get them back in because I couldn't stand to look at myself.
You did. I remember that.
Yeah. And now I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I feel beautiful. I feel lighter. I also do a lot of grounding. I literally go get in touch with like the actual electric like pieces of nature. Like you're in there, you're putting your feet down, you're connecting with everything, you're letting it flow in one foot out the other and just being a part of it. The other idea is we need to rest and recover. And we have to play and we have to have fun.
Yeah.
Like resting and recovering is huge. And I don't mean just like your basic, like take a nap. I don't mean your basic, like make sure you're getting all your sleep, even though those are 2 really, really big factors.
Right.
You need to let your mind relax.
Yeah.
Because when we're in that hustle, grind, we're always in that trajectory like, okay, gotta work, gotta buzz, gotta work, and gotta get this done. Task, checklist.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to embody those feminine powers, it really takes disconnecting from all of those things and getting centered with yourself to not only like be able to listen to what's going on inside and calm all that stuff down, but then once you clear the house a little bit, you start to feel different. You start to trust yourself more. You start to have a more clear vision. You start to really understand your intuition and what it's telling you.
Yeah.
And like coming into your own like that, just being with yourself for a little bit of time, you're going to feel like it's a revelation in your entire life. It's going to pivot a lot of things.
Right.
But it takes a lot to get there. Like it took me like 2 months to be able to actually sit and meditate with no thoughts, just feeling my body breathing.
Yeah.
It took me a long time. Like I don't just like tell people to like, go meditate for 10 minutes. Like you really have to set intention around it.
Yes.
To start bridging that gap like between the outside and the inside.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's fantastic advice. I have always been able to, my biggest thing is like go to the movies. That's like my favorite thing because it's like my escape, and that's the only time I've ever been able to be like completely wrapped in something else. Like if I sit, like I've still not mastered to be able to just like not focused on work and things like that, and so like I do like when you put videos out, you'll be like, oh, I like going outside and whatever, which again, I'm not an outdoorsy person. I think one time Jesse told me to go for a hike and I was like, or he's like, go out for the woods and like after he like worked on my leg or something, he's like, go to the woods for like 3 days and like and where I was like, I'll get eaten by a bear, bruh. Like I'm not gonna survive this one. Like if you're telling me to just go, like I'm not coming back.
Prepared. There's other ways to.
There are other ways, but that was such a jump that I was like, okay, I'm gonna need somebody to like reel it back for me.
So chill in my backyard for a
second.
Second.
Exactly. Let me go sit around the fire and like just chill and and that has brought me a lot of joy. And so I really have enjoyed doing that.
You invited me over for a fire. See?
Yes, that's what I want to. Yeah, that's like my. That's my whole thing. So that's what I'm trying to do more of. And again, being intentional about like this prep around being and saying, hey, like I know, because I think a lot of times people assume that I'm so busy. And I mean, I am. But I believe that anyone makes time for anything that they actually want to do. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if there was a concert or something, you would move everything and go across the country like tomorrow for it if you really wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So that's why with guys and their excuses or friends and their excuses or whatever, that's why I try to be like, nah, like either you're with it or you're not. Like we'll figure it out or we won't. You know?
Be honest, if you don't got the time right now, that's cool, but just let me know.
Yeah, exactly. And so like that's why I'm like trying to put myself out there and be like, yes, I would like to do something. So let's make it happen. Because I really do want to do that because I don't want to look back and say, oh yeah, my prep, like I closed off and I was just alone in a room. You know what I mean? Not doing anything and just sitting because I have my house now. So it's easier to do that and just kind of be like disconnect. And then like, that's all I do. So, you know, I'm trying to go to like movies in the park, do some bonfires, like, you know, have someone else plan my birthday for me. Like, you know, like,
that's a big one.
Like, yeah, you know, and not feel like I am just, you know, hiding away, you know, and I really want to make sure that this like prep is a part of my life, not me like altering my whole life to be that person in that prep, if that makes sense at all. So.
Yeah, no, it makes sense to me because I always fought the connection ideal around that, like because we all know that like pain and suffering and like the human existence is truly like what is relatable and sure for all of us.
Yeah.
And that's how we can connect and support each other and actually like be with each other in those moments, lifting each other up.
Yeah.
So when we're like in that contest prep and we are literally like riding that threshold of like, I like could give up any fucking second, but I'm not.
100%.
And so like the isolation, I don't know that it's so much of an isolation because you don't want to isolate, but it is something that you have to do for your well-being because there's an energetic response to like how you're feeling into the exterior world. And if you can calmly say to yourself, like, okay, like I would rather just try to stay home and keep my energy clean and stay happy and stay balanced, like do that because you don't want to also be susceptible to like something going wrong too. Like you can go out, you can travel somewhere, get in a fender bender because you're tired.
Right.
So, and then you have to deal with that and the repercussions of that. And then you're carrying that like.
Right. No, and that's the thing too is that, like I am so crazy that like I literally feel guilty about like staying in on a night because I'm like, no, you're physically able, like you still have some energy left, like you should go do something, you know, or you should like put yourself out there. And then I'm like, no, sit yourself down and just like watch this movie and like chill. So that like taking back that recovery. So again, it's so funny when I talk to other bodybuilders and stuff, they're like, oh, there is no balance, there is no whatever, and I'm like. I see that and I get it and there's seasons for it, but I do want to try to, like, again, I said, like, find the balance that works for myself and that works for the best, you know, mentally, physically, all the things. So something I do like to ask guests when they come on is, you know, in terms of loving your body and things like that, what is something that you love about your body today?
Man, it's resiliency.
Yeah.
I was in a lot of different spots over the last like 2 years, emotionally, mentally, and that plays into the physical. Just it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So the resiliency there, like allowing and knowing that, like if I change my mindset and emotionally like integrate and help my body recoup, like the resiliency in my body. I love my whole body.
Yeah. And that's fantastic, as you should. Everyone should. You know,
it is so resilient.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Katelynn, what do you got?
Yeah, pretty much the same answer. Well, it's about loving pretty much everything about myself. I've never really struggled with self-confidence.
Love it.
Of course, I have my days. I grew up around all boys, so I definitely have that, like, I'm the shit.
Yes, I love that, though.
But, yeah, of course I have my days, but I really do just love everything about my body. And, you know, in the days, what matters is the days where I do feel insecure.
Yeah.
And having to know how to change that around to be like, you have a great ass.
Yeah.
Look how much you can
find
squat.
the positive. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at your beautiful face and your beautiful hair. Like, and it's over. I'm back to normal again. Like.
Yes. No, and it's the same way with workouts and things. Like, you know, you might be like, oh, I had a horrible workout, but it's like, but at least I could move. Or you know what I mean? Like, and I think that we find the negative is so much easier to come about, obviously.
And that just feels so gross. The negative, I just don't like that. So it doesn't come around very often. When it does, I'm like, this has got to stop right now.
No, for sure. And I do really love, again, like I said, when you like with the whole extension thing, I think the more people need to understand that was like, because again, if people are listening to this and they're not watching the live feed or they're not watching this, YouTube or whatever, like they don't know, what Casey looks like, what Katelynn looks like, whatever, but we all are 3 different bodies, different shapes, different sizes, different hair, everything like that. But we live in such a culture where, it is hair done, nails done, tan, got to be this, got to be that, whatever. If you're not the standard, all these things. So for someone else that may have never struggled with their body listening, they might be like, oh, like, well, that's not really a big deal. Or they may look at you and be like, oh, well, her hair can be whatever and she looks flawless. You know what I mean? And easily have assumptions, right? Yeah. Because there is a standard with smaller bodies as well as larger bodies. Yeah. It's not just, a lot of times people like to always, I guess, feel sympathy for larger bodies and not for smaller bodies, but we all have struggles, you know what I mean? So we have to resonate with that. And so I think that, again, putting it back into the whole idea that like that is a huge step for you. And so if you are someone that is struggling to keep up your appearance, quote unquote, like take it from us, like, because you've experienced it. And even like me right now, I'm not having my spray tan. This is the first time I've had my spray tan, in a long time. And so my bumps are like on one and like they're very noticeable and scars and all my stuff and whatever. And they're annoying and I don't like to look at them. So a lot of times spray tans help me kind of like just move past that, and a little pick me up. But I was like, I really want to sit with this. And I remember working out and I had my shorts and I saw my bumps, I saw everything and saw my hair natural and it was just curly and whatever. And I was just like, damn, I have not felt this beautiful in like a while.
I love those moments.
You know what I mean, though? Like,
so good.
But it was a great like time, and I was just, it's so unexpected, and it was beautiful, and I was just like, man, like. But I allowed myself to have that because I didn't have to set the standard of like, no, you got to be tan today, you got to do this event, you have to do this, whatever. It's like, no.
Yeah. One of the things that really helps me in those moments when if I'm in the bikini, I'm like, feel gross or I feel like bloated or whatever. What I'll do, this is one of the tricks that I do for myself. And so if I'm at the pool, it's a good example, and I look at somebody's other cellulite, body, overweight, underweight, whatever, like when people are looking at me, how much are they really looking at me and judging me being like gross?
100%.
You know what I mean? There are shitty people out there who will do that.
Yes.
But the majority of the people are going to look at you and go, you look great, girl.
Right.
And because I do the same thing to them. Like, I don't think you shouldn't be insecure about that stretch mark or whatever.
Right.
It's normal. So why don't I tell myself that?
Yeah. Because there's a lot of times I think that we're projecting our own insecurities or from past and previous traumas or whatever, right? Like, and that's a whole nother topic for another time, but that does happen. And the same thing with gym anxiety, right? A lot of times people go in because they think everyone's looking at them when genuinely no one cares that you're there. And you know what I mean? Or nobody cares that like what you look like or what you're wearing or whatever. And it's just like, that's why I think it's so important for, us as eights and, and what we're trying to advocate for to set that example of saying like, guys, like it doesn't have to be this way. Like it doesn't have to always be that females have to go in the corner, like take up space, like drop your weights, do the things, wear what you want to wear. If you feel good in that, cool. If you feel good in that, cool. Like it doesn't have to be this show or whatever, this perfect, that it's never going to be reachable, and so anyway, so I continually, love seeing other women advocating for all of the things that I have always wanted to see, you know what I mean? Because growing up, I just didn't have other people like that. So I'm truly grateful for you guys coming on today, for just being friends and just for, even coming to Move Fit. Like, you don't know how much that meant to me. Like when you came, like, I know you were like, I don't dance, like, or whatever.
So weird.
But no, it was great.
But
seriously, I literally remember every person that's like ever come to a Move Fit of mine before, and for all the years I've done it, and it always means so much, and people don't think of it as like that. They're like, oh yeah, I'll come to the next one, or whatever. And just like, that is like where I just feel my best and through dance, and it's just beautiful. And I love seeing other people embrace that too, so it really did mean a lot. So thank you again for doing that, and thank you guys for coming out today.
Sure. I know you're gonna be at the Music City Expo here. When is it? It's the
May 13th.
Right. So I wish I could be there because I know it's gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be huge, and everybody's gonna get it.
Yeah.
Gosh dang it.
I know it'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited. I do have people coming in, and they're coming from different states and stuff, and it'll be really special. And girl, I'm a pull of J-Lo. It's a full, the whole stage is mine. It's like Dani Fitness stage. So like all 4 sides, I can teach it this way. I could teach it that way. I could teach it that way. I literally like I'm gonna just be doing full circle and maybe do a costume change. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, please.
I gotta look at the outfits that are sitting in my house right now. But you know what I'm saying though? Like I'm so excited about that just because again, you have, you know, strongman over here, powerlifting over here. You have all these like these different events, right? And then it's just like, bam, this girl in the middle of the thing. So I'm just like keeping my health in check, trying to rest up, you know, do all the things to prepare for the whole week, like with prep and everything like that, so that I feel my best, so that I can just like live and be there and do what I love to do, and it just be a fun day. So we'll definitely take all the videos and you'll see everything. So I'm so excited. But yes, and if there's anything that you guys want to share, any last things about your business and everything you got going on, by all means, like feel free to share.
Yeah, I just really wanted to get on here and be able to, like, a lot of the Enneagram it's really important to us. It's one of the biggest things in Katelynn's life I know. She really learns how to value relationships, connection, and she's just like always like the big person in the room. It's But so to have the Enneagram in my life, she introduced it to me, has created more connections than I could ever imagine that are so genuine and authentic.
Yeah.
Like I totally encourage anybody out there, take the paid Enneagram test. What is it?
Okay.
It's like the main website.
The Enneagram Institute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take it, see what type you are, read about your type, read about your significant other's type, read about your mom's type, whatever, whatever it is. Yeah. And you're going to see, like, you're going to be able to break down, like, them in their moments when they're having a hard time and know how to encourage them. Like, that feels so good inside when you're not lost or confused on how really you can lend some
just
love.
brings clarity.
Defines the undefinable.
It's so fulfilling.
Okay. I love that. Yeah. Well, yes. So that sounds great. And everybody check it out. Let us know. You can always DM me. And where can they follow you guys at on Instagram?
I am Casey.Samsel.
Okay.
You can just follow the Fit Femme Project. You don't gotta look me up.
Okay. All right. Hey, they want to see your guns. They want to see you like working the gym, getting that movement.
All right.
So my number?
No, you can also listen to our podcast too if you guys are wanting add something to your little listen roster. You can check us out because we're there.
It's the Fit Femme Podcast.
It's so crazy to when you launch a podcast, you're just like, and then it just starts going and you're like, oh,
it's happening. It's the Fit Femme Project Alignment Podcast.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a mouthful.
You're going to have to come on our podcast.
I would love to come on your podcast.
I know, we have to now.
That'd be awesome. I appreciate you guys so much. And until next time.